And again, basically another really quick illustration. This would be a fuel rail assembly, the basic one. These represent fuel injectors. So say you have your inlet here. Let's say you had a in-tank fuel pressure regulator. So you don't have a return line. 40 psi, 40 to 45 on average would come up into here and fill this chamber with fuel. And each injector would basically have a port that it plugs into. And the injector rail and small little metal clips would basically retain it to the fuel rail. So that's really as simple as that. So as long as the fuel and fuel pressure are in here, when your fuel injectors or solenoids click open, they can atomize the fuel outwards. That's really all they are. They're basically just valves. Say you had a vehicle with a fuel return line. So basically you would have a fuel pump without a fuel pressure regulator inside the tank. Basically your fuel pressure regulator in this case generally would be on the return side. So your high pressure comes into here, your injectors use what they need, and then the rest of the fuel would flow out. Generally this is basically again just like a valve, but it works on vacuum. Usually works on engine vacuum. So you would have a vacuum line connecting from here to your intake after your throttle body. So basically directly to the intake plenum on the vehicle. So basically the way that vacuum pressure in a vehicle works is when your throttle plate is closed, so you're not on the throttle at all, you have vacuum, or more vacuum I should say. So more vacuum here could be basically, more vacuum here will pull a valve open and allow fuel to basically almost freely flow right through the fuel rail. Not completely freely flow, but make it flow easier through the fuel rail. So there's not as much pressure in here and as much fuel flowing through the injectors. As you step on your throttle and your engine RPMs increase and there's more air going into your engine, your vacuum decreases because there's nothing there to basically block the air from coming into your engine. It can move more freely. Therefore your vacuum decreases. As your vacuum decreases, this valve is going to start to close because there's not enough pressure holding it open anymore. It's going to begin to close. When it starts to close, it's going to start restricting the amount of fuel coming out of the fuel rail, making the pressure in the fuel rail go higher, allowing more fuel to pass through the injectors, and also allowing it to atomize or mystify or whatever you want to say better for more performance and better fuel economy and a more cleaner and more efficient burn as well. There's a really quick crash course on fuel injection. I apologize I don't have the parts inside here to actually give you a better demonstration of how it works. However, my illustrations were rough but very accurate. It covered the basics of fuel injection in principles. Not every fuel injection system is the same. There are different types. I showed you basically how fuel pumps work, a couple of different kinds of fuel pumps, the basic fuel injector and the basic fuel rail. Some vehicles use what's called TBI, which is throttle body injection. Basically, you could have a V8 and then two fuel injectors sitting on top of the throttle body. Those fuel injection systems only use about 4 to 6, or actually on more average about between 4 and 9 psi, really not very much at all. but again, works on the same principle. You have a feed line with the 4 to 9 psi in it, and your injectors will use the same. There's a regulator, and then there's a return line. These systems actually almost look like carbureted. Interesting systems, not popular anymore. Very, very rarely used, if they even do it all anymore. I haven't seen one on a vehicle for years. It's usually on like 305s and 350s and early 90s, late 80s when fuel injection first came out. So hopefully this answers some questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to message me, and I'll definitely get you an answer back. I don't know everything, but I pretty well know everything there is to know about cars. Not the greatest teacher, because I don't really have the patience to teach people. But a video, I'm not really concentrating on making anybody learn anything. It's just as simple as this is how it is, you know? So any questions at all, please feel free to message me, and I'll definitely get you an answer back. Anything else you want to see, please let me know. Video ideas, things like that. That'd be great. Right now, I think I'm going to go to bed. Cheers.